Mercy Foundation is known throughout our area for proactively addressing the healthcare needs of our local children. You've seen their work over the last decade with the Healthy Kids Outreach Program. But now a new healthcare crisis has come to their attention, a disease that affects children throughout Douglas County. Kids like Alex from Oakland, Savannah from Drain, and Cooper from Myrtle Creek. That disease, Type 1 diabetes. It all started with a heartbreaking phone call to Foundation President Lisa Platt from one of the local Douglas County ESD nurses, Barb Hofford.
As a board member, Lisa had come to me and told me that she had got a call from the ESD and a 9-year-old, after being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, had tried to commit suicide. A week later, a 15-year-old did the same thing. Broke my heart.
I've been the school nurse consultant since August of 2011. At that time, I think we had 8 kids in the county that we knew of, that I knew of, with type 1 diabetes. Currently, we have 42. It's just this growing need for that support here in our area.
Everybody hears about type 2. Type 2 you can control with exercise, diet, medications. Type 1 you can't. It doesn't matter what you eat.
So when we eat, especially carbohydrate food, all of it turns into sugar. And the sugar stays in the bloodstream unless we have insulin to be able to pull it into the cells for energy. But with folks with type 1 diabetes, their bodies don't produce insulin. So they need to have insulin therapy given to them, whether it's an injection or perhaps a pump.
I was diagnosed when I was 27 years old. And being an adult and being diagnosed, I was scared crazy. I can't imagine what these kids and these families are going through.
When Savannah was first diagnosed with diabetes, we didn't really know the signs and symptoms of type 1 diabetes, and she was sick with what we thought was the flu.
We first noticed symptoms when Alex was about 5. He had what we thought was the stomach flu. He had the stomach flu quite often.
One of the first things we noticed with Cooper was he was drinking constantly. He kept throwing up too, like he was on a field trip and he threw up.
We were told by the doctor to go over to the ER, and from there we were taken up to OHSU for treatment.
And so we took him to urgent care. They poked his finger, and the next thing we knew, we're in the emergency room at Mercy Medical Center waiting for a bed to open at Dornbecker's.
She ended up being extremely diabetic dehydrated, had to go over to the emergency room, and then be life-flighted up to Dornbecker.
Primary care providers, pediatricians in Douglas County do an awesome job taking care of their patients, but they're not specialists in diabetes. So what ends up happening is our families need to travel up to Portland to be able to get this kind of intensive care. And that makes it difficult when you have to get off work. It's expensive to travel up and back. Kids are having to take time out of school, parents off of work.
That is a real burden for some of these families. It takes a lot of time, it takes money, and it takes them away from school and jobs.
We don't have a pediatric endocrinologist. They get a 3-day training, and then they come back here, and there's nothing.
Doctor's appointments at 8 a.m. in Portland, which is like 3.5 hours if the traffic is good. So yeah, we have to stay in a hotel. It's just not safe to be getting up that early and driving when you're already waking up in the middle of the night to check blood sugars.
Seeing the challenges these families face, the Mercy Foundation, partnering with Mercy Medical Center, Evergreen Family Medicine, Douglas County ESD, and the Cow Creek Tribe, have come up with a plan to increase Type 1 support, education, resources, and services to our area. The first phase of this plan is already in motion, a resource group called T1D, Beyond the Diagnosis.
Our support group, Beyond the Diagnosis, meets once a month. We alternate between an educational piece every other month, and then every other month we have a fun event for the kids, so we'll go swimming or bowling.
We really wanted to empower families, to give them a platform to be able to meet with one another, share concerns, share lessons that they've learned.
It's nice to have another parent to talk to and, get new ideas about how they're doing things.
It has been amazing, the results that we have gotten. I go to the meetings and watch these kids get together. They don't even know each other, and yet they come together and they realize they're not alone.
We are partners because we believe that children with diabetes should be able to get the help that they need and the counseling they need and not have to travel all the way to Portland to go to OHSU.
We want to be able to have the kids stay here and have them diagnosed here, have all the care here, the diabetes education that they need, all the support. We want to keep it in Douglas County.
They have a difficult disease that they didn't ask for, so what can we do to make it easier for them to be successful in our society and be contributing members?
To see how we are affecting these families is amazing, and we need to continue. And with your support, we can do that.